Episode 44. Someone comes back wrong. The coffin is empty. That is the first thing Anika understands. Not emotionally, structurally. The lid is open. The interior lining is intact. The flowers are still arranged with ceremonial precision. The crowd stands in a respectful semicircle, waiting for grief to proceed as scheduled. But the body is not there. Anika feels the pressure arrive late, like an afterthought correcting itself. The missing minute does not appear. There is no skip, no distortion anyone else can name, just an absence where a conclusion should be. Where is he? Someone whispers. No one answers. The priest hesitates, script suddenly useless. The murmured sympathy fractures into confusion. Phones come out. Voices lower instinctively, as if volume might provoke whatever just misbehaved. Anika does not move. She knows. This is not a mistake. This is not theft. This is restoration. 3 days ago, her brother Dev was removed. Not killed. Removed. The difference matters. There was no accident. No blood. No closure. He stepped into the street at 3:07, and the street continued without him. One moment he was there, mid-sentence, mid-step, mid-life. The next he was not. No body. No impact. No witnesses who remembered anything clearly enough to testify. Containment. Everyone else called it disappearance. Anika called it what it was. Correction. She spent the first night screaming. The second night researching. By the third night she had stopped crying entirely. That was when she asked. Not begged. Asked. She did not know how to phrase it. There were no instructions. No form to fill. No ritual that promised success. So she did the only thing that had ever worked. She aligned. She went to the place where Dev vanished. Stood in the exact position. At the exact minute. She did not pray for his return. She acknowledged the equation. He was removed because he disrupted continuity. The pressure gathered. Not threatening. Listening. I can carry the instability instead. She did not specify how. She did not negotiate terms. That was her mistake. The pressure released. Now, 3 days later, the coffin is empty. A hand touches Anika's shoulder. She turns. Dev is standing behind her. Alive. Breathing. Whole. Someone screams. The crowd erupts into sound. Gasps. Shouts. Disbelief collapsing into chaos. Phones rise higher now, recording openly. The priest stumbles backward, crossing himself reflexively. Anika stares at her brother's face. It is his. The same eyes. The same scar on his left eyebrow from when they were kids. The same posture, slightly slouched, like he never quite learned how to take up space properly. But something is wrong. He smiles. Too late. The expression arrives after the moment that should have triggered it. Anika steps forward. Dev, she says. He turns his head toward the sound of his name. Not immediately. A delay. Barely noticeable. But real. Anika, he says, voice steady. The syllables are correct. The tone is correct. The timing is not. People rush them, hands grabbing Dev's arms, touching his shoulders, crying, laughing, swearing. He allows it, body compliant, eyes tracking each movement with a precision that feels rehearsed. Anika watches closely. He is responding, but not anticipating, like a feed playing back half a second behind reality. The ambulance arrives even though no one called it. Protocol reasserts itself. Dev is examined. His vitals are perfect. Heart rate stable. Blood pressure ideal. No sign of trauma. Too ideal. You were pronounced missing, a paramedic says carefully. Do you remember anything? Dev pauses. Anika holds her breath. I remember stepping off the curb, he says. Then I was here. No confusion. No fear. No missing space acknowledged. Anika feels cold spread through her chest. He does not remember being gone. He does not remember containment. Time did not give him that part back. At home, the house fills with noise. Family arrives. Neighbors. Friends who cry openly. Hugging Dev as if touch can anchor him to the present. Anika stays close. Watching. Dev eats when food is placed in front of him. drinks when offered, laughs at jokes slightly after the punchline lands. His laughter is real, but it arrives late, like a system catching up. At 3:07, Anika feels the pressure flicker faintly. Dev does not. He stands by the window, staring out at the street as if measuring it. "What are you looking at?" Anika asks. He blinks. "Timing," he says. She freezes. "What do you mean?" Dev considers this. "I'm not sure," he admits calmly. "Things feel early. Or late. I can't tell which." Anika's throat tightens. That night, she hears him walking around long after everyone else has gone to sleep. His footsteps are too regular, too measured, each step evenly spaced, as if governed by an internal metronome. She finds him in the kitchen, standing perfectly still. "Dev," she whispers. He turns slowly. "I didn't ask to come back," he says. The statement is not defensive. It is informational. "I know," Anika replies. "I don't feel wrong," he continues. "But the world does." Her chest tightens. "What does it feel like?" she asks. He thinks for a long moment. "Like I arrived at the right place," he says carefully. "But at the wrong time." Anika understands then. Time did not restore Dev. It reinserted him. Alive. Functional. Misaligned. She remembers the exact words she used when she asked. "I can carry the instability instead." The system listened, but it did not forget to balance. She feels it now, pressing lightly behind her eyes, a reminder of debt not yet collected. Dev yawns. The motion stretches too long, as if his body is waiting for permission to finish it. "I'm tired," he says. He walks past her and disappears down the hallway. Anika stands alone in the kitchen. She understands the rule too late. Restoration is not reversal. It is relocation. And whatever time took to allow Dev to return has not been taken from him. Not yet. The first thing Anika notices is that Dev no longer flinches. Not at loud sounds. Not at sudden movement. Not even when someone touches him without warning. It is subtle. Easy to miss. Easy to rationalize as shock wearing off. But it never returns. A plate shatters in the kitchen one afternoon. Everyone jumps. Dev looks down at the fragments, head tilting slightly, as if assessing an equation rather than reacting to a noise. "You okay?" someone asks. Dev nods. The nod comes half a second after the question. Always half a second. Anika begins measuring without admitting to herself that she is doing it. She watches the delay between stimulus and response. The fraction of time it takes for his eyes to track movement. The way his expressions arrive just after the emotion should have peaked. It is not that he lacks feeling. It is that his feelings are arriving out of phase. At first, it is manageable. Dev resumes daily routines. He showers. He eats. He sleeps. He answers messages from people who do not know what to ask. But the world keeps slipping past him. Crossing streets becomes dangerous. He steps off curbs too early, misjudging the flow of traffic by a breath. Anika starts walking slightly ahead of him, unconsciously acting as a buffer between his timing and the city's indifference. He begins finishing other people's sentences incorrectly. Not wrong words, wrong moments. Someone laughs, and he joins in after the laughter has already begun to fade. Someone cries, and his face softens after the tears have stopped. The room fills with a low-level discomfort no one can name. Friends stop staying long. They say they are busy. They are lying. At 3:07, the pressure returns for Anika with increasing regularity. Never strong, never violent, just present, like a hand resting on the back of her neck. Dev never notices it. That terrifies her more than anything else. One evening, she finds him standing in the doorway of her bedroom, watching her. "How long have you been there?" she asks, forcing calm. He considers. "I don't know," he says. "I wasn't counting." "Why are you here?" Another pause. "I thought you would ask me something," he says. Anika's stomach tightens. "Ask you what?" Dev's eyes flicker, as if checking an internal reference. "When?" he replies. She does not sleep that night. The next morning, Dev forgets to blink. Not permanently, but for too long. Anika notices because his eyes begin to water, the surface drying out while his gaze remains fixed on the television. "Dev," she says sharply. He blinks, startled, as if waking up. "Oh," he says. "I forgot." She turns off the television. What do you mean, you forgot? He rubs his eyes slowly. I lose track of small maintenance things, he says. Breathing rhythm, blinking, swallowing. They don't announce themselves anymore. Anika feels cold spread through her chest. Time did not return him broken. It returned him unfinished. The first real incident happens in public. They are at a grocery store when Dev suddenly stops walking mid-aisle. People flow around him, annoyed, muttering. Dev! Anika whispers urgently. He does not move. His eyes are unfocused, staring at something that is not there. The pressure spikes sharply behind Anika's eyes. For the first time since Dev's return, she feels the unmistakable sensation of correction approaching. Dev, she says louder. Dev, look at me. Slowly his head turns. Everything slowed down, he says calmly. Too much. Then he collapses. Not unconscious. Disconnected. His body remains upright for a fraction of a second too long before gravity remembers to apply itself. Anika catches him awkwardly, screaming for help. The hospital confirms nothing. Again, scans are clean. Blood work is perfect. Neural activity is normal if slightly efficient. Efficient, the neurologist repeats, frowning. That's not a word I usually use for brains. They keep Dev overnight for observation. At 3:07, Anika feels the pressure peak. She steps into the hallway, palms pressed flat against the wall, breathing slowly. She understands now. Time is not malfunctioning. It is compensating. Dev was returned alive, but his temporal alignment was never recalibrated. He exists slightly ahead and slightly behind the present simultaneously. Too early to react. Too late to belong. The cost is not being charged to him. It is being charged to the system around him. At 3:07 the next night, something else happens. Dev sits up in his hospital bed and looks directly at Anika. I don't think I'm supposed to be here anymore, he says. Her heart lurches. What are you talking about? I'm leaking, he replies, as if stating a mechanical problem. Moments keep slipping through me. I can't hold on to them. Dev, stop, she says. You're fine. He shakes his head. Fine is a timing concept, he says. And I don't have one. She grips his hand tightly. I asked for this, she whispers. I asked them to bring you back. Dev squeezes her hand back. His grip is warm, solid, human. I know, he says. That's why I'm worried. The next morning, the nurses report something strange. Dev's sleep cycles did not follow normal patterns. He entered REM almost instantly, then exited abruptly over and over again. No smooth transitions, like a system trying to sync and failing repeatedly. They discharge him anyway. There is nothing to treat. At home, the desynchronization accelerates. Dev begins answering questions before they are fully asked. Other times, he answers questions no one has spoken yet. Not yet, he says once suddenly while sitting alone. Anika looks up sharply. Not yet what? He blinks. I'm not sure. She begins noticing moments where Dev seems to anticipate events slightly before they occur. He moves away from falling objects before they slip. Turns his head just before someone enters the room. Steps aside just before being bumped. Not precognition. Lag compensation. He is no longer in sync with the present. He is hovering around it, correcting for misalignment on instinct alone. One afternoon, Anika finds him standing in the street. Cars pass through him without slowing, drivers swerving at the last second, horns blaring. Dev, she screams. He turns. The horn sounds after he turns. She pulls him back onto the sidewalk, heart pounding. I didn't feel the danger yet, he says softly. Her hands shake violently. That night, she finally understands the full cost. Time did not return Dev as he was. It returned him as a burden, a destabilizing variable that reality must constantly adjust around. He is alive, but he is expensive. At 3:07, the pressure comes down hard. Anika gasps, dropping to her knees. Dev watches her with dawning clarity. Oh, he says quietly. There it is. She looks up at him, tears blurring her vision. It's taking from you, she says. I told it I'd carry the instability. Dev kneels in front of her. That's not how balance works, he says gently. It never takes from where the error originated. It takes from where the equation allows. He places a hand over her heart. You're paying, he continues. But I'm the interest. The pressure releases. Anika feels something tear loose inside her. Not pain. Lost. She tries to stand. Her legs do not respond immediately. Dev catches her before she falls. For the first time since his return, his timing is perfect. Anika understands what that means. Time is adjusting again, preparing a final correction. She grips his arm, panic rising. No, she says. Not again. Dev smiles sadly. The smile arrives on time.